I should make like an infographic on the betrayal of trust and it's the town, the county, and the state have all betrayed us. The town, having their agent work in the planning, town plan, which we didn't have, and zoning office. That's what it's supposed to be called. It's the town plan. We didn't have a town plan. They took it and they shelved our town plan. And they changed the name to planning and zoning. There was no planning. There was just zoning enforcement, which we don't even know who it is now or what the files are. We haven't published an updated zoning map in 7 years. We have to work with Greenwich and all of the other towns in Fairfield County and pull this together. I should start a Google Drive shared folder where everybody posts everything that they have. All their town plans, their charters, their constitutions, their code, including the state constitution. I'll make this part of Mississippi's old constitution state. You don't even know what you have. All that's been changed, manipulated, updated. We can streamline. You can look at all of it now. And anything you don't like, get rid of it. Oh, this is great. I'm going to empower the people with Google Politics. See, Google levels the playing field like never before. For the first time, it's totally open, totally
The
equal.
phrase levels the playing field like never before.
What was that? For the first time, Google levels the playing field like never before. And that is a fantastic thing. First time in history that.
Oh, that reminds me.
And it's totally, every person is the same as every other person, which is the way it's supposed to be. Exchange of ideas, thoughts of culture, of human.
So here's the ad. I should draw it. There's Earth on the left, and it has has crust, upper mantle, lower mantle, outer core, inner core, cut away the Earth, and on the right, it has a layer of the crust, and then it has a layer of Google, and then it's all white. It just says information, and the headline is "Google has changed the Earth." Cool, right?
Humanity, not of obfuscation and blocking and manipulation and backroom deals, which is what the Porsche deal is. How did that happen? I was in the room. They were denied. Their application was denied, aside from just rightfully so, for a million more reasons than the ones that were cited, aside from my commentary. Then the normal you don't like your decision, go to ZBA, the Zoning Board of Appeals. That's what the appeals board is there for. Okay? You'll be heard. But instead they they filed a lawsuit, which I didn't see that in the paper, so I guess they filed a lawsuit. They met with our attorney, the town attorney, the attorney for the applicant met with our attorney in private and did a settlement. And then as a settlement of what? What does that mean, a settlement? We've already rendered our decision. And they were during a regular town planning zoning meeting, they pulled the commission out of the meeting and out of the public into a side room where they secretly met and came with the attorney and came out of the room and said there's been a settlement and the Porsche deal is approved. How did that? Oh, I'm like, wait, what? No, it's not. So we've got the House of Cards Congress right now. What we'd like to do, in addition to coming out against it and listing everybody against it, we in Fairfield, in Easton, and Bridgeport are going to have just in our area, Fairfield, I can only speak for Fairfield, the 3 representatives in the House and Senate. We're going to pay for their salaries. Right now it's $40,000. And I've talked about before what that's done to artificially keep their income low, which makes them vulnerable to needing income. We all have to live. And so now you're underneath the Democratic Party's thumb. You want to keep your job, you got to do what I tell you. It's wrong. And we're changing that. We're going to pay them immediately out of our funds, $80,000 more. So it's $120,000 a year to be our public servant. We're going to ask they don't take money from anywhere else. We're going to take steps to reduce influence in meetings that others have on them. I need to show them the map of Fairfield and how town services became a monster. And what it was on the map and what we have now in our 50 years. We're going to go public and say, this is what we want to do. And we're going to embrace this. We're going to address these challenges head on, the environment, the climate, the landfill, which the state refuses to address, the water, because we're going to do it for ourselves. And, you know, in fact, I don't even think we should make it Beaches State Park. There's two options. Which do they like? We're going to ask Fairfielders which they like better. Because to be honest with you, I don't trust the state. And they've had such a betrayal of trust. I don't know if we can call it Fairfield Beaches State Park. I would love to. I really would. But half of me wants to call it the Long Island Sound Wildlife Natural Refuge, not make those kind of accommodations, not make it open for development, not make it open for the mass people, but more of just pristine nature. So that's what we have to ask Fairfield. Do we want active recreation or do we want passive nature? And if we want active recreation, who is the steward? Can we really be that? I can offer from Halleck State Park an extension here, focusing on a million things, going across the sound, measuring it laterally in different depths, longitudinally. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You really get an idea of the different depths and sections of the 17 miles across. It's more actually to Halleck. I think it's like 30, I don't know. But then we've created something real where we can measure and we can look and we can see differences and we can see all sorts of stuff. And man, would I love to link that with the Victims Memorial. You have to understand, not only do I want you to see Fairfield for what it really is and what it was, but Bridgeport for what it was and what it is. It is a beautiful, beautiful city with everything and anything you could want. The trouble is it has been stuck for 50 years. And we can change that now. We can never recapture those years, but we can move forward and we can build on it and we can have a new tomorrow and we can appreciate that and have some justice and have a future and have enjoyment of our lives and our surroundings and create the utopia that you want to live in. Our state government has betrayed us so much and so often and so blatantly in the open, like looking at last year when they took money meant for the homeless and they used it to upgrade the arena in Hartford with new kitchens. It's so hypocritical. And to even like begin to try to adopt any sort of moral high ground. It's like, just don't go there because you have betrayed your people and your constituency so deeply that we have to fix this mess. You have us in 50th place, 5-0. Create the platforms for user-generated content. Give them like 13 categories. Post the assets, post the headlines, post the message. You can decide what works. You can propagate it your way. You can talk on your social network. You can cut and paste. I can give you the issues and the awareness and the education, and you can turn that into the change. So let's see your stuff. Let's have all your work. Send it in. And let's get cooking here. Here's what's going on. Ad agencies. Let's get user contributed stuff. Let's do some good work like the old days. America would not be the America it is today without our founding fathers, period. Now it's time for our matriarchal mothers to step up, to step forward. It's time for our matriarchal mothers to take the small steps for us to make giant leaps forward. Take the step to give us all a giant leap forward. Take the step to give womankind a leap forward. Back to Fairfield. It's not about limiting public input. You know that you've limited our say, so it's not about running for office. You've shut us out again and again and again. You have shut me out for 25 years, and I'm not going to be shut out again. I could do a bit called 25 Years Without Oxygen about how I have been working for 25 years to affect change and to do something here in Fairfield, and have been blocked and blocked and blocked and blocked and blocked. And why is that? And how do you change that? This is our last chance. My subhead could be, I have been working for this moment for 25 years. This is our last chance. I've been trying to fight against this moment for 25 years. I've been fighting this moment for 25 years, period. Semicolon. This is our last chance. It is about an industry that has made itself the locomotive of our entire state and has its tentacles and operations in every fabric of our government and local society, down to the employees within the town, to our elected officials, dominance of our elected officials, to the very laws and codes we write. Where today we are now left with the world's most aberrant, golden corral, all you can build delight that is not a stretch to call dystopia, period. It really lies before us. So we need to do now an active remediation program to undo all the damage that the state has done for the last 50 years. And there's a variety of ways you can do that. You can shave the tops off, you can move, you can lower. Like the book says, be creative, be original. If every picture tells a story, then here's one of me and my tale of how after 50 years, Fairfield can finally regain itself, control, its future, its life, period. Fairfield can finally reclaim itself. Idea, do a 3-minute blitz using these glasses. It forces me to be concise every second. And it's easy. I don't even have to edit. I just got it nailed right there. It's a new style using the glasses. Headline, until our public sector uninvents Google, comma, they better wake up to the new reality, period. Times have changed, semicolon, our public sector hasn't. That's the second idea. What I can't accept is that you are putting our lives at risk. There is no ecological awareness. There is no testing. There is no rising sea levels, the climate change that is a huge, probably the most pressing factor in our lives right now. And we are literally in Fairfield on the front lines, and you just 100% ignored. And in fact, are building on the wetlands and naming the roads after what you are destroying. We need a reform on the infestation of real estate agents naming roads and developments, well, more of the roads, and politicians naming things after themselves. I think we got a lot of cleaning up to do there. Starting from the newest one I just saw, the condo complex. It's the driveway to the condo complex. They're calling it Oldfield Commons or something. Private. Private what? I'm going to go up here.
This is actually an important point. There's too much misinformation going on. There needs to be state services with a centralized communications office where all statements and comments have to get vetted and approved. Independent, not partisan, because they make up terms and they make up the wrong words and they say the wrong things, and it's not right. It's harmful.
Your driveway to the condo. I'm going to put up a sign that says Schmivit, private Schmivit. It's not a road, it's a driveway. That has to come down. All the ones. I don't like any private, but that's particular one, or that pattern of like closing it off and giving them naming roads themselves and Sasco Point or whatever. It's like, no. In fact, we have a lot of renaming to do, because where it gets confusing is, for instance, Post Road, that one block section. I mean, it was maybe like half a mile long of Post Road, where Fairfield Avenue is renamed Post Road. You have to remember, coming from Bridgeport. There's no reason that should have been renamed Post Road. Maybe it was originally. It was Route 1 right there. It was that connection before it came up and around. I don't know exactly why. But that should be renamed Fairfield Avenue to minimize confusion and stuff, and really address that hazardous look over the shoulder connection there, which is like the vendor doesn't even talk about that. They talk about a peanut because people are speeding too fast. It's not that. It's just a bad angle and jumping onto a tricky interchange is the problem. And then you have to cross over a lane of traffic, which is not a huge problem. The X pattern there, people make it work. But the danger is the one where you have to look over your shoulder with cars coming fast, and especially if you don't have good eyesight like myself, it can be really tough and dangerous. You got to turn around and look. Next, we should just extend the name of State Street, because again, it comes from Bridgeport into Fairfield. It's just a drive. It's a made up. It's the whole thing's a made up construct. So you leave it as State Street going all the way down, except for the one area. Instead of calling it Constant, just call it Constant Dead End, because that's what it is. Because you're not through access. You open up the access, you call it Bigelow. That whole complex is going to be called Bigelow, and we're going to leave that as a scar, as a wart, to remind ourselves what could have been.
All right. We can go back for I noticed one other here, the electoral reform one. You know what? Why don't let me see what else there was in shorts here. The revolution is brought to you by Google. Watch this. This is so important. Your Pocket Guide to Revolutions by the Century, Anglo-Centric Edition. The 1700s were about the rights of man, most notably with the American and French revolutions. We had ours first. In the 1800s, the Industrial Revolution moved the world from a rural, agrarian economy to an urban, manufacturing one. That's what contributed to the rise of capitalism and capitalists, people who owned the company but didn't do the work. 2 world wars in the 1900s created a new order, with America emergent in the second half. Starting around 2000-ish, Google revolutionized the world by putting it at your fingertips. The revolution is brought to you by Google. Sign the petition at change.org/solarversuseverybody and visit the-voice.com. Nice. And then hopefully it'll go to the next one. Maybe not. Yep. The 1700s, most notably with the American and French revolutions. We had ours first. In the 1800s, the Industrial Revolution moved the world How long have we been live? I can't tell. Half an hour. All right, let's play it. This is how there's discrimination against the counties of Connecticut, and Fairfield County in particular. It's extreme. This is the first thing that really needs to be paid attention. All right. We don't have to loop. As Michael says. I think we saw this. Solar's on the road. Let's go back to 3 points on electoral reform. This is for the governor.
Oh, number one for electoral reform is institute the programs that our state elected representatives just developed at the end of 2024 and made voluntary, which is a big deal. Talk about that in a minute, not mandatory. To do direct choice, ranked choice voting, some of the innovative ways to vote. No labels, you don't even need Democrat or Republican, and the people choose and they can see, especially in light of all the irregularities of this special election, which I think is emblematic of a larger one with probably larger issues. I don't want to say what I don't know. Put everything online is number two. Full transparency, that the public sees first before it even, when it goes to the state. There's no reason that it's deliberately buried in a phone book of information that nobody will ever see. And we just can't have that anymore. Number three is an independent and strong elections division, not part of the Secretary of State, not part of the mechanisms of the state operations, with SEEK as part of it, embedded, with criminal authority to investigate the criminal charges, to levy real penalties, not this joke like $1,000 when all the money is gone. And those are the three. Have the innovative voting to stop all the mishegots, put everything online, and talk to the minor parties about all the other irregularities that can be done, true reform, and form an independent agency to administer and run and govern everything, because that's what's missing, is the governorship. Thank you.
And while we're at it, let's just look at this last one. So this is when I ran. Do we already do this?
Bonjour, it is
We
Solar.
need to do this.
I ran for office as an independent candidate on a reform ticket in the 3.5 town 21st District Senate seat in Fairfield County. Saying the honeymoon is over, I may be the first in the country to challenge POTUS head on at the polls. I didn't win the official on-site election, yet won the unofficial online poll. I filed a complaint calling for electoral reform with transparency, ranked choice voting, and the formation of a strong, independent elections division. Here's the executive summary. The electoral process is bent. Both Republicans and Democrats, or the major parties as they call themselves, are guilty of manipulating the system to their will. The blame is much greater on Dems, as they are in power with a 2-to-1 supermajority. The system predates the current members, but it is maintained and strengthened by them, designed to work to their advantage to eliminate the influence of anyone else. More, this election is a microcosm of the operations in Bridgeport and emblematic of Hartford's control of Fairfield County as a whole. Talk about an elephant in the room. Mario Testa was the face of Bridgeport Democratic Town Committee for decades. He has moved to Monroe, and now it looks like he's changed teams, hosting the nominating event. This is more than optics, and those who know Fairfield County politics know the significance of the GOP having its convention there. Democratic donkey on the left says, "Did you hear that Mario Testa is hosting GOP events?" The donkey on the right says, "Good luck with that." Then another donkey was unavailable for comment, but promised to get back to us as soon as it could compose it himself. We did catch this on a hot mic. And these forms have the same missing printed name field that other election forms have. It's more on the state as a poor chain of custody issue. But it's not just that both parties could submit via email an altered form without confirmation of the identity. It's totally insecure. The state has no way of verifying who sent the form. This is the pattern. See Mayor Joe Ganem's paperwork last time he ran for the mayor's race. The state removed the print name field, which waters them down and removes accountability. We have no idea who signed these forms. The Dems use a different form from the GOP and call it a town meeting. It doesn't have a print name field, but that's not on them. They are using the form supplied. Still, the candidate nominated was a staffer in the party chief's office. He may have been qualified, but were all the registered Democrats in the district in 3.5 towns educated on the nominee beforehand? Or was it somebody that the party chief just slotted in? Was there an opportunity for other candidates to come forward?
Excellent.